Sam, how's it going? How are you today?
Good.
Marvelous. So, Sam, the
Yo.
the one question everyone's dying to know, what have you been up to since we last had you on, which was wow,
A
it's
while
been
ago.
ages. I think it's been like a month.
So we've been doing all kinds of things, and as is usual with computer games, some of them I can talk about and some of them I can't. Um,
Yay!
so the one I can most easily talk about is, of course, we're working on the next update for the game, which is actually coming along nicely now. It took us a while to get started because we sort of had a lot of design work to do and all that kind of thing. But I think it's near enough that we can talk about some of the features that are going to be in it. So you heard
Yes.
it here first, folks.
Whoa!
Um,
Exclusive news! Whoa!
Exclusive content. So first thing is that we're adding an entirely new way of doing shipping. So we're calling it smart shipping. And it's this whole new thing that gets rid of all of the shipping lanes, and you just go, I want this island to have some tools, and this island has too many tools, and the ships go, okay, I'll figure it out and take them where they need to go.
Mm.
And it works across between planets, so it's like this island wants tools, and there aren't any tools on the planet, but that planet over there has some tools, so a spaceship will just take them there for you. And it just makes things so much simpler and smoother, which is awesome. So that is going to be the default for new games, and old games you can convert them to smart shipping, but there's no feature for going back to the current lane shipping. That's too hard to do, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yep, that's one of the big features. That's nearly done.
It looks so
Um,
good as well. So,
yeah.
is it Isaac that's been doing the majority of that? I feel
Yes.
like it is. Yeah.
Yep.
It
Yep.
looks
So that's pretty
so
much all
good.
Isaac. Um, and the next one, which I've just finished adding, is repeatable technologies. So this is something that was been requested for ages, especially by people like in the end game. You know, you finish the game and you've got thousands of research points left over because you've got
Mm.
research institutes pumping them out continuously and all that. So we've added a bunch of technologies that you can research repeatedly, and each time you research them, they get more expensive. Um, so things like there's a technology that makes your peeps go 10% faster each time you research it. There's one that adds 10 to the storage of all your warehouses and ports each time you research it, and a bunch of things like that. We've just been discussing the naming of them. So there's one that makes your peeps their happiness drops more slowly, and that's the teddy bear research,
Oh, the
um,
teddy
which I was quite
bear!
happy with.
I love teddy
And
bears.
yes, so you can research teddy bears in the game now. What else are we adding?
Goaty,
Uh,
game of the year.
we've had this idea of this whole new concept for buildings. We're adding three new buildings around this new concept of hubs. So the idea of a hub is it doesn't do anything itself, but it alters the buildings around it. Um, so there's going to be storage hubs. So a storage hub will store the resources used or created by any surrounding building and transport them between them automatically. So for example, if you've got an iron mine and an iron smelter and a toolsmith all around the same storage hub, then the iron will automatically go from the iron mine to the iron smelter, and then
So
the smelted iron will go from the smelter to the toolsmith without peeps having to go back and forth and collect it.
good. Mm.
Um, and we're adding workshop hubs, which just increase the speed of neighboring like production buildings, and relaxation hubs, which look like a hot tub, and they attach to accommodation and make peeps living in those houses immune to one source of unhappiness of your choice.
Can I?
So
Can
you
I?
can make your peeps immune to pollution or whatever.
Can I show off? Can I show off some art? Is that okay?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay, you
Okay.
can
Okay.
show off some
Okay.
art.
Well, real quick. Okay, 2 seconds, guys. We're gonna just look at some art. Okay. Okay.
go. Now I see the video. Yeah, it's so pretty.
So cool.
Yeah.
This is all by Rafal, our artist who's in Poland.
Yep.
Whoop. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. I love the
So
lily
there's
pads.
and when peeps are at home, they're actually going to sit in the hot tub. Oh, and that's the pond. So oh yeah, that's another thing we're adding. We're adding decorative objects, decorative buildings. So they have no purpose other than looking pretty. So things like statues and ponds and gardens and big decorative trees and things like that you can add. Um,
So good. I'm gonna look at the Reclamation Spire, I think it's called, next.
oh yep.
Whoop.
So this is one we actually had it built and then decided we were going to change the purpose of it. So this one, oh no, that's the nanotech building.
Oh, is
All
it?
right.
My bad.
Yeah, that's right. So another thing that we've been thinking about for ages is just that exploration gets a bit samey. So you arrive at another island and it's like it's another grass island. I know exactly what it's going to be like. So we're adding these new nanotech thingies that you can discover on a bunch of islands, and you explore them just like an ancient ruin. But then you get a choice of probably 3 effects, and it'll be like some minor change or a major change with a negative or a really major change with a big penalty to it. So everything from construction goes faster on this island to this island changes to snow, and all kinds of things between. So just ways that you can you discover an island and then you get a choice that might make you completely rethink how you're going to use that island. So that's actually the next thing I'm going to be working on, adding that into the game. And yeah, so there's more. It's quite a big update. We're adding all kinds of things to it. The general theme though is basically now that we have Steam reviews, we're getting input from people who aren't already fans of the game. Like on our Discord is great, but the people on it are already fans of the game.
Yeah, it's community.
So the people on Steam, you have to have bought the game, so at least they've bought it, probably played it before they say things, but they're not necessarily fans. So we're taking a lot of their feedback into account, and some things we already knew were hard, but we've suddenly realized how we can make it better, and some things that we just wanted to improve, and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's the focus of the update.
We do have an announcement coming out at the end of the week that we cannot talk about at all, right, Sam?
Yep, absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah. There's an embargo, so we'll get our butts kicked if we talk about it.
Totally looking forward to having that out in the public. That's going to be cool.
Yeah. How do you draw in more players who don't know about Before We Leave? Team 17 handle that for us. So I think something that all of us are kind of collectively not great at is talking about Before We Leave to new players. I know community management is kind of a weird one where you can sort of step into a kind of community management where you are trying to attract new players, but the sort of community manager that I am and where I excel is like retention and keeping our current community happy. So Team 17 are very kind in that they are the ones doing like all of our PR and like sort of like ad-based marketing and influencer relations and content creator relations. Do you want to add to anything to that, Sam?
I don't think so. It's really nice. I mean, they go off and do paid advertising and talk to the influencers and do the PR releases and all that stuff that we're just. I mean, we might be able to be good at it, but we're inexperienced at it and kind of don't know what to do. So having someone who knows what they're doing is really great.
Absolutely. For sure. Talking to press is actually really hard. I don't know how to get them to read emails. that's sort of what you need to be doing when you talk to press, eh? Because it's like
Yeah,
you need
something
to.
like that.
It's so funny because like when you think about journalists and press and that sort of thing, they're writing headlines to grab people. You literally need to do that in an email to them. You need to write like a an email subject that's like really that grabs their attention, and then also like the first sentence needs to grab their attention as well. So you're basically playing journalist to a journalist in an email.
Yep. And I mean, apart from anything else, if a journalist gets an email from Balancing Monkey Games, they'll go, "Who?" and not even bother to open it. If you get an
So true.
email from Team 17, you'll be like, "Okay, that's worth opening."
Yep. Oh, the publisher that's worth several £1,000,000. Cool. Team 17 sends them here. Emily keeps them here by being a great community manager and the occasional threat. I don't threaten people, right, Sam?
No, never.
I think it was on Friday when I was like, don't make me come down to Dunedin and fight you or something like that. I'm like, that's my boss who employs me. Oh my god. Do we have any sort of time frame for the next update coming out?
Unfortunately, no. I'm not going to promise, but I think we'll probably have something on the experimental branch probably by the end of next week.
Oh, cool.
It won't have all the features in it, but it should have most of them. And it'll be, janky and broken and half done and all that, but that's what experimental is for. But after that, there's probably a good another couple of weeks of getting everything tidied away, and then it's got to go through QA and all the rest of it. So
Yeah.
I'd like to think it would come out by the end of the year, but I don't actually know for sure. And there's no way for me to predict, unfortunately.
Yeah, we got a lot going on at the moment.
Yeah.
That we can't talk about. So.
Yep.
So we've got. Let me just count. Actually, we've got that secret thing.
Yep.
Another secret thing.
Yep.
The update.
Yep.
Hiring.
Yep. Oh yeah, we're hiring new people. It's not much to
Talk
say
about
other than we're hiring new people.
We're juggling. That's 4 things. 4 things at the moment. 2 of which are really big and super secret. We can't talk about. Actually, 5. I just remembered another secret thing. So we're doing like 5 things at the moment, and there are 5 of us in the studio plus a couple of contractors.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, our heads are exploding a little bit.
Yeah. So if we're a little bit quiet on the Discord, that's why, because we're just bouncing.
Having to scoop our brains back up and put them back in our skulls because they exploded again.
Get back in there, please, dear God, stay this time. So funny.
Gaming Mary, yes. So on Steam there is a beta, a branch called Experimental, and as soon as we've got something that's not horrendously broken and reasonably complete, it'll start going onto the experimental branch.
What does 2022 look like, Sam?
Like a set of 4 numbers, 3 of which are the same.
Great answer. Sam Barham, ladies and
jokes
gentlemen.
are us.
We're here all week.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, so 2022, we've got some ideas that we may want to do on before we leave, but we haven't actually decided for certain if we're going to do them. So Retna just asked, how does feature creep work with a published game? Is there a point where you can see the return on investment is not worth it? So yes, there is, especially with a premium game like Before We Leave. We don't have an ongoing source of income from microtransactions or anything like that. So there does come a point where it's like, this game is cool, we could keep doing a million things on it, but it's just not making us any money. So at some point that'll kick in and we'll be like, yes, we could do more, but maybe not. But even then, you know, you'll get games that 2 years later they'll be like, hey, we updated our game because we felt like it. So that's always a possibility, even after we decide we're done with before we leave. But I mean, we are talking about what's next, about what we do next. Watch this space. We will tell you as soon as we have something worth telling.
Big space watchums.
Yeah, some of these things, it's not like they're secret, like there's contracts saying we can't talk about it. It's more that we don't know yet, and we don't want to tell you we're gonna do this, and then change our minds and be like, sorry, we're not going to do this.
Oh, I couldn't do that
Because
to people.
it's a bit lame.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people get really grumpy if you do that. So we'd rather be like, it's a secret because we don't know what it is yet, and then we'll tell you when we do.
Retna has a really good question. Damn Retna with the good questions. It will be pretty sad to move on to the next project as this has been your baby. Is that exciting or scary?
Bit of both. Bit of both.
I'd agree.
Nice to do something a bit different and have a change and all that kind of thing. But at the same time, it's been kind of the focus of my life for years. So it'd be a little sad to move on.
2017, right? That's when you started poking around with
2018.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh wow.
2017 I was doing game dev as a hobby, but not on before we leave. There's other prototypes first.
Oh yeah, that was Paxet Belly, right?
Yeah. And something unnamed before that.
Oh wow, yeah. If you'll want to see some history of Before We Leave, go to our website and go way back to the very first blog post.
Yep. It's educational.
It is. Yeah, it's so cool seeing that journey. For me, I guess, like, Before We Leave is the first game that I've been around for a while and shipped. So I have, like, shipped one game before, but I was literally there 2 days before it went live. So...
It counts.
Yeah, that was intense. So some days I get really fed up and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sick of talking about this bloody game. And then other days I'm like, oh my god, it's Before We Leave, you know, it's like, it has so much meaning for all of us. And it's so important to us. It's such a, you know, it means a lot, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's not just a game for us, it's like, it's been our lives. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No. Not that I can think of.
All right. Well, thanks again, and I will talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.